y'all ever just have a song that you listen to specifically for like a whole semester or like a whole year? I remember this one time during, I believe it was junior or sophomore, I can't remember, one of the two. I was listening to Back to School by Deftones from their White Pony album, and I don't know why, but it was such a good song. It's such a good album overall too. Specifically that song too. Was this just me, or am I legit on the spectrum, like I am undiagnosed but positively sure I has the isms? Speaking of school, I want to talk about horror in the setting of school and around that. I absolutely love this sort of setting when it comes to that, because other than just the fact of high school, middle school, elementary school, whatever you want to put it at, primaria, I have no idea what you call it in Europe. I'm sorry, I'm an American. School is already scary enough, whether it just be that random kid puking up the pizza and the strawberry milk they had before recess and lunch, or just the fact of shit is scary like in math, or have to go up and present to the classroom, or have one of those icebreaker moments with the class, or get paired up with someone you really don't talk to or vibe at all. There's so much scariness in school. I was never really a big fan, even with college too, and I'm just talking community college too. And to clarify, not just horror as well, but also just the suspense and thriller and everything, the mystery. I mean, look at Heathers, look at all these other movies that center around school briefly, like Stand and Deliver, Coach Carter, Radio. Oh, these are just sports movies as well. You know what I mean overall. It's not just horror, but in a sense of more, there's a good setting for school, and more of it can be very scary or honestly very suspenseful depending on how you look at it, how you look at this list. How's it going, everybody? My name is Gribbs138. Today I got some back to school movies I want to recommend to you if you haven't checked it out. Perhaps you may have heard of these titles, perhaps not. Stick around for the whole list. You may be surprised. There's no spoilers in this at all, just because I want to keep it nice and clean for everybody in case you haven't seen a certain film or whatnot. If you haven't followed me on Letterboxd, please do so. I am working on updating my film blog and watch list as well, so come with me and just see how many films I crammed into. Stick around for the whole video if you can. Share this around, like it, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It just helps with the algorithm and it really likes it a lot. Thank you for your time. Now back to the video. First up, we have 1976's Carrie, obviously adapted from Stephen King's 1974 movie Carrie with the same title. This was also directed by 1974's Phantom of Paradise, Brian De Palma. He also directed that movie as well, which I have seen so many references, and I swear this will be the year that I finally watch it. This movie definitely tackles a lot of serious themes. Like, man, for a 76 movie, it definitely does. I could understand why a lot of parents would just be a bit iffy on showing their kids this at that rightful age, especially for womanhood and all that stuff. I'm not trying to get too technical here, since I do not have the hardware nor the tools to be talking about, and this is not that type of video, unfortunately. Overall, the themes that they go from are revenge, social cruelty, sympathy for the monster, for Carrie, not the monster, loneliness, coming of age and family drama, and also, some very adult manners. So if you are triggered by domestic violence, then I would be careful watching this movie. But overall, it's a classic horror movie among generations and fans. Your your grandma probably watched this at that point. And if you do remember, there was a 2013 remake starring Chloe Grace Moretz, aka Hit Girl from Kick-Ass. Not that she's just known from that, but that's one of my favorite roles from her. This movie overall was pretty solid, and I definitely would watch again and again. It's definitely one of those movies where it's just like, Jesus Christ. Stephen King was definitely on that booger sugar, if you know what I mean. Overall, if you haven't seen this movie, I'm pretty sure you've seen the prom scene. There's references everywhere in media. If you watched and consumed enough media, you know where the references are from. But this is where it's from. You'll see it as it develops. It's a great movie overall. Definitely one of Stephen King's best, like I said. Also check out Phantom of the Paradise, because I'm kicking myself for not checking it out. This time I will. It's really good. Next up, we have 1986's Class of Nukem High, and the guys over at Tromaville, the only independent movie studio from New Jersey. There's so much history with them. They basically do a lot of practical effects. They gave the guys at South Park a start early in the 90s, right before South Park made it big. Cannibal the Musical. Also, James Gunn got his start here as well. He also was co-produced Romeo and Juliet as well. This is some great stuff here. Be cautious. It's a lot of sci-fi horror comedy that blends a lot of practical effects. Some of it's not as PC for 2025 in the big 2.5, but for the 80s and Troma, you'd understand that this is basically their staple in what they do. This is directed by Richard W. Haynes and Lloyd Kaufman, who are the people behind Troma and always are directing The Toxic Avenger as well too. The budget for this is pretty cheap for what it was, and once you see how much the scale and everything of this whole movie was, some of it's just as practical and as cheesy as you would expect, and of course there's budget cuts and there's reusing of the actors and all this other stuff, but that's what just gives Troma its sense, you know? That's what makes it. They've basically been in the running of the studio independently for years, and they know how to do it with the practical effects and making what they can with it. So go check out some Troma movies. There's a big selection. I'm not sure if you're into it, if anything, but overall, you have to admire their spirit. 1996's The Craft has to be some of the best movies that we had in the 90s, period. That's the bias for me as a millennial and someone that grew up watching this movie religiously every Halloween. I know it's a lot to say. Overall, it's definitely a personal favorite. Deals with a lot of witchy stuff and definitely is memorable for what it is, and it's hold up so well for 2025. There was a weird follow-up sequel that was released straight to demand, physical release in 2020 that we don't talk about, and short little mention of my favorite character in it, but other than that, not really much else. Funny enough, though, the song that they used to cover was used for the TV show that they were trying to pitch called Charm, which is its own little thing to look into. But overall, The Craft, definitely recommend. One of my favorites. Overall, it's for the gays, the theys, the witchy girls, the Wiccans, everybody that is into that sort of vibe. You'd enjoy it very much, and had to follow a strict PG-13 guideline, even though it was given like an R rating or vice versa. I probably got that mixed up. There's a lot of weird stuff that happened on set as well. Look into it as well. While they were doing a ritual, actual like stuff actually started happening on set. So funny enough, there was a lot of energy in the production of making The Craft. Love it though. Always come back to watch it. Still rocking with the 90s, and that brings us to 1998's The Faculty. This was Usher, the musician, you know. This is his film debut, and he does a pretty good job in it. This basically was Elijah Wood's main reason for being cast as Frodo Baggins in Lord of the Rings eventually, so think of it as your little the butterfly effect in a sense. Leading which to became one of my favorite interviews of all time about when will you wear wigs? Do you wear wigs? The original name for the movie was called The Feelers before they eventually settled on The Faculty, which I have to say, it's a lot better and sounds way better than that. This is also basically The Faculty in a sense. It's The Thing, an invasion of the body snatchers in a high school setting in the 90s. It's what is the best way I could put it. There's a lot of suspense in this movie as well. Overall, the cast was great, and Robert Rodriguez, who went on to direct Spy Kids movies and Machete as well with Danny Trejo. Does some great work there. There's some good stuff here as well too. Definitely very 90s in a sense. Overall, like I said, you get several nods to the John Carpenter's The Thing 1982, and you get Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland, the remake of the original movie, not that one. And we finally made it out of the 90s with that one. We head into 2000s Ginger Snaps. I have to say, very underrated werewolf movie. I hear it every so often. There's an edit on TikTok every now and then, but it's not talked about enough. And I honestly haven't watched this movie since I cannot recall, probably 2013 or 2014 at least, tops, if we're being honest. So good 10 years at this point. I used to watch this movie religiously on the Sci-Fi Channel, which would then follow up the 2004 sequel, Ginger Snaps Back: The Beginning, which is a prequel to this movie in general. This is good though overall. It's kind of giving a similar Trick or Treat vibe, which I'm not going to spoil anything else about that movie as well. But in a sense, once you kind of understand what you're getting into with this movie, it's pretty freaking good. And a lot of people don't really talk about this often. For a 2000s movie, it holds up pretty well in the big 2025. Overall, give it a check out if you can. Usually it might be on Tubi, or if you have Shudder, then give it a watch. Continuing on this setting, we have 2000s Battle Royale. Author Kinushi Tanamaki wrote Battle Royale in 1996, which basically inspired the 2000 movie. This movie is very, very violent and has definitely controversial themes all over the world. It's gotten bans from Germany and New Zealand, maybe the United States for a while. I'm not sure. You could do your own research on that. This definitely inspired the Hunger Games. It's definitely a lot of just more of Lord of the Flies as well, too, in a sense. It's just a mixture of both when you think about it. It was so popular that they actually released a sequel to it called Requiem, Battle Royale 2 in 2003. Definitely one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite movies of all time as well too, and he even considered remaking it at one point and directing, but I'm glad that never went through. Definitely trigger warning for this if you want to watch it. Please just be careful. It's very graphic in a sense of just doesn't make you end up feeling good, and if you're into that kind of stuff, well, and hey, all to you. For me, this movie's pretty damn good, but also just kind of leaves that dread feeling behind. It's a little too spot on. It's a little bit more graphic than Hunger Games, so don't think, oh, this is just gonna be Hunger Games, you poor innocent soul. This, compared to Hunger Games was basically Mr. Rogers at that point. Definitely consider watching Battle Royale. It's on Tubi as well too. Not sure about the sequel. Haven't watched that one at all. If you are enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit the like button, share this video around, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Now back to the video. Final Destination 3. This was released in 2006, and this has got to be one of everybody, and when I mean everybody, every millennial's favorite Final Destination movie, and basically traumatized a generation. Originally, Zac Efron auditioned for the role of Kevin, but dropped out because the same year, High School Musical was interfering with his scheduling conflict on that. Fun fact, in Japan, the film was named Final Death Coaster. That's actually pretty clever for what it was. It was in the works since 2003, as first mentioned on the Final Destination 2 DVD. This is the fourth highest grossing film in the franchise. Definitely probably got bumped since Bloodlines came out, but who knows. Unlike the second film, which was a sequel to the first, the producers envisioned the Final Destination 3 as a standalone film. Well, they kind of do mention some parts like of the plane and of the traffic, so there is brief mentions, but it's definitely like you could just go in blind, which I would assume most people would have heard of the third one at that point by now. Some of the best Final Destinations kills are in this one. It's definitely up there. Top 3 Final Destinations. I'm not going to put a number on it, but maybe number 3. Definitely on there. Check it out. One of the best ones. Even for the DVD selection, they believe had a choose your own death, meaning you could have certain characters live and die depending on what you were feeling with the DVD. So that's a kind of little what if kind of thing that they threw on there. back when the DVDs had more with the bonus features and the behind the scenes and the trailer. Most of the stuff you can't really find on YouTube, which is the reason why lost media is becoming such a thing nowadays and why I keep pushing for physical media. And this is just probably old man yelling at cloud. I really like my physical media a lot, and I really wish some companies would still put in the effort for the bonus features like that. Here's a part of the video where I like to talk about the honorable mentions list. This is some that I think would have made the cut, but honestly are still at least worth a mention on the list that I have. So I'll just go through what I think are some of the more spooky fun versus some of the scary fun are the two categories that we're going through today. So spooky fun, I would definitely throw in Idle Hands. Come on, this is just stoner Evil Dead in the 90s. It's so good. Seth Green, Devon Sawa, there's a whole bunch of other people I'm forgetting, but please go give Idle Hands a watch. You owe it to yourself if you enjoy good stoner comedy horror movie this Halloween, or at least this spooky season. Next we have Jennifer's Body. If you enjoyed Lisa Frankenstein from the last, I believe, year, then you will probably enjoy this one as much as you did that one. Or if you have also seen Jennifer's Body, then I believe you might also enjoy Lisa Frankenstein as well too. Diablo Cody, look her up. She's done some great work. Midwestern queen. Please keep her in business. She's doing some good stuff. And Sleeper Hits, that's all she's known for writing. Both movies underperformed the box office. So good. I believe Lisa Frankenstein, give it another 5, maybe 7 years, it's going to be even bigger than it was when it first came out. And everybody's going to be just shooting themselves in the foot thinking like, damn, we had a sleeper hit, which they did. Some of the more scary ones that I have are classic A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. This is where it all began. This is where Wes Craven got his start with getting his foot in the door in the horror genre, like with just teenagers in that base. Basically, this is just kind of all leading up to Scream in a sense too as well. So good. It's where it all began. And do I have to say anything else? Last but not least on the honorable mentions list, I have Jeepers Creepers 2. Yes, I know the first one is so good and underrated or is overhyped as well. However you want to see it, I just think Jeepers Creepers 2 takes the cake. Not sure about the Reborn or the new one that they had planned out. I just want to stick to my first two movies. Overall, the second one has to be my favorite. Definitely scared the crap out of me the first time I watched it on tape, and it still does to this day. Those cornfields and just that school bus with the football players or whatever the hell it was. I'm not sure. I think it was rugby. No, it was rugby. It was rugby. It wasn't football. I learned about that like a couple years ago that it was rugby. Anywho, go watch Jeepers Creepers 2 as well too if you haven't. A little bit controversy with the director, but we're not here to talk about that. Give it a watch. It's one of my favorites, and it's perfect time for back to school, especially if you live out in the Midwest like me with a bunch of cornfields and farms, because that shit is pretty freaking eerie. So closing thoughts I have, there's just so much in horror that I enjoy. The setting of it, just the classroom, the dentists, the clowns, there's just a lot of it with the setting. But overall, like I said, people can tend to do horror right when it comes to classrooms. I'm about to go see Weapons myself, and I'm so excited to see where that goes. Maybe someday it'll be on this list. Maybe somebody will comment down and add it to the imaginary list that will continue on beyond this video. Let me know what's everybody's favorite classroom horror suspense movie that they would recommend to watch during back to school around this time. And like I said, school is a scary thing overall, but in a sense, it's a good place to learn and educate yourself, surround yourself with like-minded people overall. That's just me talking out my butt. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoy the school season. Make sure to just keep up, make good choices, and I'm not here to tell you what to do besides just watch some movies and enjoy the time that you have. Educate yourself. Knowledge is power in a sense. Read a goddamn comic book or a screenplay. There's a lot to do. Okay, that's it, me rambling on. Till then, I'll see you next time. Comment down if you've seen any of these videos, or if you're going to take a recommendation for me, let me know down below, or if you have one as well. I would like to hear it. I'm out of here. I gotta stop yapping. Till then, watch another video or click on something else. I don't know. Go back to the other page. Go click off tab. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.